Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. I'm sorry, and thank you all for joining us. Uh, Let me say it again. Good afternoon, and thank everyone for joining us. And certainly, uh, sending my continued thanks and appreciation for the members of the Savannah Police Department and Team Savannah, many who have worked all night and are at work even through today. So my thanks are to them. Uh, for us as a community, we've watched these types of scenarios happen across the nation. We've watched it. We've sent our thoughts and prayers, um, and it's finally reached us. So as you are well aware, we had a mass shooting event last night in which at least 9 individuals were shot. One, I believe at this point, confirmed dead. There were also incidents that occurred in 2 other cities, Austin, I believe, and in Dallas. Again, mass shooting events that occurred. 2 of the individuals shot were very, very young and unfortunate people in the way, so to speak, of this very, very tragic incident. We remain committed to being able to do what we can to be able to bring these individuals to accountability. Again, violence has no place in our city. And I think that's our bottom line. I reiterate that our city is only as good as the people that live in it. And so therefore, I'm trusting that the good people of Savannah will go ahead and offer these folks up to the police so that we're able to charge them appropriately. The question has come up, and I've heard people, I've heard from every person, pundit that have talked about how we address these issues. We could have more patrol officers. I will tell you that more patrol officers would not have stopped what happened last night. You had what has been our formula that we have to get in front of, and that is a gun, someone with an issue, and then a extremely tragic and bad decision. And we have to get in front of that equation, because when we don't, then these types of things happen, which is why it's so important for our community to be engaged and be involved in helping us to address these things. I think the chief has spoke earlier. We had an incident in that same area Tuesday, and nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. And people saw stuff and they didn't say anything. And so the lesson here is that perhaps if something was said then, we could have avoided what happened now, what happened last night. And so we are again pleading with people. If you see something, say something. If you saw something, say something, because you might be preempting a tragic event like what happened in our beloved city last night. To that end, these individuals are still out in the street. And to that end, there are people out there, I'm sure, who are mad about what happened last night. And we know that the result of that is retaliation. Let us get in front of it. Let us get these folks off the street, and our police department is waiting to hear from you. If you don't feel comfortable calling the police, you can call Crime Stoppers. If you don't feel comfortable calling Crime Stoppers, call me. And I'll make sure the information gets to where it needs to be. Overall, our homicides are actually lower, even with the 2 over the last couple of days, lower than it has been. We were at 18 at this time last year, and right now we're at 14. I will tell you that any number of homicides in our community is unacceptable. Our violent crimes are up by 12%. Most of them have been non-fatal shootings. So these are incidents that are involving guns. And so we continue to work, which is why, as you are well aware, I've instituted getting the community involved. We cannot police our way out of this. And we do not want to be a police state. We recognize police are our partners, but we have to be partners to the police, which is why we have instituted the 10 ways for 100 days of finding ways of helping people, parents, mothers, and engaging their young people, knowing where they are, who they're hanging with, what they're doing, what their activities are over the next 100 days. On this Friday, I will be joining with fathers. Again, we recognize at the very granular level, we cannot depend on police to protect us. People have to protect ourselves, and that is the purpose of public safety. Public safety is the public's responsibility. Ultimately, it's my hope that once the police have done their work, and I again salute our police department for having a higher than national average clearing rate of these types of crimes, that our criminal justice system, be it the DA and the courts, will swiftly remove these individuals from our community. And that is how we clean up our community. It has been admittedly difficult over the last year with COVID. We recognize that there are people on the streets that probably don't deserve to be on the streets, but we've had a criminal justice system that has gone to a standstill. That is revved back up again. And so we're hoping to see more indictments. And again, we're hoping to see stiff prison sentences. To be honest with you, I have very low sympathy for those that are using guns in the commission of crimes. I'm for restorative justice and all those other things. But when you put your babies at risk and when you shoot indiscriminately into crowds, Savannah will not tolerate that. And I'm hoping that our community won't tolerate that as well. And I'm absolutely praying and imploring our friends and neighbors over on Avery Street side and that side of town, if you know something, say something, because if not, we'll be doing this again tomorrow night. And I do not want to do this again tomorrow night. So that ends my comments, and then I'll answer any questions you may have.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, this is Danae with WJCL.
Hey, Danae.
I know that Chief Minter said that some state agencies are assisting in the investigation. Do you happen to know what state, and maybe even federal, I'm not sure exactly, but what outside of Savannah and Chatham County officials and organizations are helping assist in this investigation?
Well, we have a great track record of providing mutual aid to agencies all over this region. And so I trust that when Chief Minter asks, they will reciprocate. I know that Georgia State Patrol, as they do patrol operations mainly on roadways, that we will bring them into the city to assist us, as they graciously do time after time. And then other agencies. Again, I'm not beyond asking the federal government from some assistance, particularly as it relates to the gun crimes. Again, you send a message by sending people away for very long periods of time. And again, our goal is to make sure that people who do not belong in a civilized society don't live in a civilized society.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. This is Blair Caldwell, actually, from WTOC. I'm just on someone else's link because mine wasn't working. Wanted to ask you a little bit about this incident. I mean, 8 people shot now officially, 3 of them people who are young adults. I mean, what is your message to the community members who weren't near Avery Street last night but heard of this news and are now kind of waking up to this realization of a mass shooting in Savannah?
My message is, if you're sick and tired of it, then do something about it. Again, I don't care who the person is. They could be your son, they could be your daughter, they could be in your family, they could be your best friend, they could be your spouse, they could be your intimate partner. If they're engaged in danger to the community, then you are just as guilty as they are if you don't turn them in. Either tell them get it straight or turn them in. I mean, I wish that at the point at which this person or persons made the decision to drive to Avery Street to shoot up this area, that somebody would have stepped in and said, stop, this is not the way. This is not the way. You know, take the gun, you know, let's count to 10 seconds and breathe. Let's put some space and time in between this. We need intercessors. We need interveners. We need interrupters. And those interrupters are not necessarily formally of the police variety, but these are individuals in the community that can help diffuse these incidents before they happen. Likewise, I think this also exemplifies the absolute need of us in our community that when we see something, we have to say something. Because again, in this case, we don't know, but on Tuesday, the police were out there, and Wednesday they were knocking on doors and they were saying, hey, have you seen something? What do you know? And people said, I don't know anything. I didn't see anything. And then here we come just a few days later and they are victimized. So, I mean, for all we know, the information that was given on Tuesday and Wednesday could have prevented. I'm not saying it would have, but it could have prevented what happened last night. And so, it has to be proactive. We cannot sit back and just expect people or police to develop leads. We have to give them those leads.
Hi, Mayor. It's Allie Jenner-John, Fox 28.
Hey.
Can you just talk about the importance of the presence of city leaders in situations like this? We saw Alderman Leggett out there last night doing his own communication with residents. How important is it to see, members of city council out here interacting with those that potentially saw something?
Well, I think that's been a hallmark of this council. We're much more community-based, so therefore it's not unusual to see us. We try not to interfere with police operations, but I think it's important for us. I've made it a point that when we've had incidents, and those are homicides and other very serious Part 1 crimes, that I try to be in the moment, because I think it's important for people to see that this is not usual. This is not ordinary. This is not routine. And so in that space as well, people helps out in big ways.
Mayor, this is Raina Cash with the Savannah Morning News.
Whoa. we have the editor here. Wow. I mean, we getting serious here now. Okay.
Yeah, right. How can you foster a culture or a comfort level in which people feel comfortable coming forward to say what they know, other than, sort of the message that you're giving here?
Well, again, I think that the issue is that oftentimes people have told me they don't want to get involved. They just mind their own business. And when I was coming up, that was just not how we were raised. We were raised that, if it happened on your block, it was everybody's business. We had a spirit of community, communication, and unity. And so for us, we have a variety of ways for people. As you know, the violent crimes tip line is open and available. We have Crime Stoppers, which is absolutely anonymous. And on one occasion, I continue to tell people, if you don't feel comfortable with any of those means, then call me. Call me and tell me, and I will tell them. I don't have to know your name. I just need to know the information. I've also said, and I repeat again, and we're working with our faith leaders, that if there are guns out there that we need to recover, I want those guns, no questions asked. And so if you want to give up that gun, or if a parent finds a gun in their child's young or old possessions, turn them in. We want those guns off the street. So I've kind of inserted myself into this process so that if people are not comfortable going directly to law enforcement, that I could become a buffer, if you will, for information and for firearms, to be able to help get those tips to the police to get those firearms off the street. Is that it?
Did we have any other questions?
Okay, it's Blair again. I'll get one more. The last question I have for you, Mary, is are we doing enough? What more can we do? I mean, it seems like the city has really done a lot of different approaches to try and address gun violence and to try and stop things like this, but they continue to happen. I mean, what else and how creative can we get, and what can we do, and kind of where do we go from here after a tragedy like this?
Well, Blair, first of all, this doesn't continue to happen. I mean, this is an extremely unique situation in Savannah to occur where you have multiple shootings at the level. But I think for us, again, we're fighting the same battle that everybody's fighting across the country. I think what we have done that is different is that we have, again, gone to a more granular level of getting the community involved. We have mothers who lost sons who have stepped forward to say, how can we help? We have folks that are anti-gun violence advocates. We have our Everytown USA and Mothers Against Illegal Guns that have been working with us to, again, get rid of illegal guns. On the other end, we have fathers that are coming this week, finding ways we can get them more engaged. Ultimately, we need our community to be able to help us. We're only as good as the information we receive for our community. We're only as good as the leads that we have. And I will tell you that if we are protecting people that we know are involved in these types of activities, then we become just as guilty as they are. And then we can't be surprised when something like this happens and we're all, tragically terrified because something like this happened when we knew that this was engaged. My full expectation is that this individual or individuals are turned in quickly and they are held accountable for what they do, and a strong message be sent that if you're going to play that game, the consequences are going to be swift, they're going to be certain, and they're going to be severe. Any other questions? So again, while our thoughts go out to those who have been victimized and those that are recovering, again, the work of the city continues. Again, we've had police officers that have been up and literally working continuously through this. And we're combing every possible lead. We need those leads. And again, we need people to talk. We need people to talk. Don't complain if you're not going to talk. I mean, I think that's our bottom line from that. And we don't want something else to happen in our community. And again, I'm concerned about additional things to occur. That is not Savannah. That's not the nature of Savannah. And so we need, as Savannahans, to bond together, show that we are Savannah strong, and ensure that individuals who do not deserve to be on our streets are off of our streets. And so I'm calling on our citizens, again, to call Crime Stoppers, to call the SPD Violent Crimes Tip Line, or you can call me. Call me, text me, email me, Facebook me, Instagram me. Just send me your tip, and I will get it to who it needs to go to. We are all in this together. And again, to our media partners, again, thank you all. Some of you have been working this throughout, but we're better than this. We're bigger than this, and we're going to do better than this. Thank you all so much. Nick?
Yep, we will send out the recording in just a few minutes.
All right. All right. God bless you all. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a quick question. Sorry, my Wi-Fi was a little slow. It's Jacqueline with The Current. I was just wondering, you mentioned that violent crime is up 12%. What is the baseline that you're referencing there?
Last year.
Last year? Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Anything else?